If you want to know how you can make bass lines with simple tools like Ableton Live's Wavetable Synth, using the tools that you already have in your toolkit in a very simple way, listen to this bass line. We are going to create this bass line. You see the technique and the approach that I used for creating it, and yeah, if this sounds interesting, this video is perfectly for you. If you want to create micro house, Rominimal, minimal house bass lines within Ableton Live with stock plugin, if you use Ableton Live Suite, this is perfect. So yeah, let's jump right in. One thing I have, which is a little gift for you for free, which is my one tool Ableton Live preset pack. It contains around 10 Ableton based effect presets that I like and that I use and that are aimed to inspire you to come up with new ideas, to tighten up your master with an EQ, simple EQ, assign some macros to it so you can improve your tracks in a very simple, straightforward way, like I show you in this video for the bassline as well. So yeah, if you want those presets, go and grab them and click on the link below so you get them shipped to your inbox for free. Now let's jump over to this week's video. I'm pumped, hope you too. Let's jump in. Alright, so I want to talk a little bit about yeah, this is basically just an idea, right, that I'm working on. So it looks a little bit messy here, but I want to talk about bassline, you know. This one and this one is basically the sub bassline, right? This is more like a mid top layer, whatever you want to call it. They play together. Let's listen together with the kick maybe quickly. How do we create that bassline? So as you can see, I have two layers actually in this rack here, right? But this first one is basically the sub bassline, right? We also could add some nice sparkling sound on top if we want to. Right? Maybe I think that could actually work in this track. Anyway, and then we have a second layer here. This gives just another little layer of tonality kind of, but I want to focus on this video on that sub bassline here, right? So let's reverse engineer that. So first thing, we need something to trigger the sound, and in my case I love to use MTD Snake. It's a adaptation from an Eurorack modular module called Make Noise Rene, right? And the nice thing here is in the Max for Live device, which is basically which is by the way for free, is we have a swing function, right? And we have different snake shapes. This is kind of playback direction, how the notes play and so on, right? And we also have a custom section here, so we can map those sequences here to filter frequency, for example. So I can map this one, and then based on the values that are played here, the sequence, it modulates the assigned dialer, right? Whatever it is, you can choose whatever you want, right? I'm not doing it on this example here, but just if you want to use that, you can do so. You know, sometimes you get really nice results with mapping those parameters to filter whatever you want, you know. Anyway, so let's reverse engineer this bassline finally. and maybe we can actually start from scratch. Let's duplicate that. So we just keep the sequence, and then let's load up a wavetable synth. Not sure if I can replicate that, but here we have basic shape. We have different wavetables, right? And we have basic, and we have different shapes like sub, and yeah, they all sound different. And we also have a sub section here. So let's play that quickly. So you can also make some nasty sounds, whatever. And we also can play with the wave position, right, as you can see. And what I like to do is just playing around with some dials, and then if something sounds interesting to my ears, I simply try to automate that, right? So we could either do that with the map section here from MD Snake. Yeah, let's just do that for fun. Increase it. Yeah, why not, right? And if we feel like we need more subs, more low end, we simply dial in the subs here. Very simple. We have a gain, and this is, man, I should use this more often, you know, because I started this track, little background story. I started this track with the drums and whatever, and then I felt like, okay, I need a decent sub, you know, a bass line, and I was searching for different plugins, paid plugins even, flipping through the preset folder and whatnot, and I simply couldn't find anything, you know. And then I stumbled over some presets that I made probably 6 months ago or something, that I probably shared on this channel already, and simply drag and drop them. That's the one you can hear in the example before, right? And I really liked it. Now I also like this example that I just came up with, right? So this is more on the fly, but just to give you an example what is possible, right? And of course, instead of using a rack here, we can also use a second oscillator. Maybe use a different wavetable. Now what I want is I want to modulate that frequency a little bit with an LFO maybe. So we have a matrix here, and if I just click on any kind of button here or dial, then you can see the matrix changes, right, based on that button that I just hit, right? So it's really easy to create modulations. So frequency, I want to modulate the frequency with the LFO1. So like this, and then we go to the LFO1. We set a certain rate. Let's make some notes maybe. And the nice thing is also we can play with the attack here, so we get maybe a little bit more of a softer automation going on here. Instead of using an LFO, we could also use the amp. Yeah, lots of opportunities to play around. In my case, I want to use the LFO. We also automate the wave position if you like, but again, this is just the second oscillator, right? We want to play around maybe a little bit with the first one. Let's add a little bit more subs maybe. Something like that maybe. I don't know if you like that. Maybe, yeah. But you get the idea, right? So it's pretty simple. As you can see, you just experiment and you probably end up with some interesting usable results. Just to give you an example, this was created in a similar way. As you can see, I used oscillator gain, filter frequency, resonance, let's use the drive. LFO is slower in that case here, but pretty straightforward as you can see. We also have a unison here. So instead of making bass lines, you can also widen shit really crazy. So you get really nice results in my opinion. lots of fun stuff you can do. Use the drive knob if you want to fatten it up a little bit. Yeah, I hope you get the idea of this little tutorial here. So yeah, to sum things up, MD snake to trigger the sound. Then second thing, if you want some, or if you need some more subs, use the sub setting here, dial in some gain, maybe pitch it down an octave, add tone, and maybe switch the filter, and then add some drive in that adds a lot of bottom end as well. And maybe if you want a wider sound, play around with the unison, maybe make the low end mono so it keeps it tight and nice, and keeps energy in the middle, right? So we have kick and bass right hitting hard in our chest, and that's important on the dance floor, right? And yeah, other than that, play around with some modulation, filter, LFO, amp, and the matrix is quite simple. Just click on a button and then experiment, have fun, and yeah, you get some nice sounding subs out of this wavetable synth. So if you have Ableton Live Suite, you already have the tool, you know, and I actually would encourage people to use the tools you already have, because I think they are really great. There are great tools out there, and again, I miss this, you know. I made quite a few tutorials about the wavetable and stuff, but I ended up using it for this track idea again, because it's simple and in my opinion it sounds good, you know. So use the tools you already have, like Operator, Wavetable. They deliver great results in my opinion, as you can just hear, hopefully. So yeah, hopefully this was inspiring, and if you want some inspiration from Ableton stock based plugins that you already have, I have one tool, Ableton Live Preset Pack, that I like to call it, because it's based on different one tool effects. So it's basically just one tool, and then you can drag and drop them into your channels and improve the sound, also the master to make it tighter and more focused. And yeah, by the way, this track I analyzed it with the tool that I mentioned last week's video, again Audio Lens, which is for free. So if you play that, we're right on track with the track from Vid in an order of tonal balance and whatnot. So right, so I use that a lot. If you missed that video, I'll link it somewhere. And as you can see with the Silapexi track, it's right there, so in order of tonal balance, and I didn't even aim for it, you know, I just followed my gut, and surprisingly it's on a standard to other commercially released tracks, right? Like with Silapexi, Villalobos has still not too much top end here in the upper heights, but yeah, you know, I think the Villalobos track was an older one. But anyway, if Audio Lens is a great tool to balance your tracks, to give you a quick perspective on where your track is, or maybe what you need to add to a track, to give you some pointers. So yeah, if you missed that video from last week, maybe check it out. Yeah, have fun. Hopefully this was inspiring. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for your time. Cheers. Bye bye.